Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, I want to talk about something that sounds simple but becomes surprisingly complex as we age: water. Most of us think that as long as we're drinking enough, we're doing the right thing. Yet after 50, the way your body uses and absorbs that water changes in subtle but important ways. You might finish several glasses a day and still feel a little tired, stiff, or just not as refreshed as you expect. The reason often isn't the amount of water you drink. It's how that water interacts with the minerals in your body. When we're young, hydration feels automatic. The body is quick to send thirst signals and equally quick to balance electrolytes after sweating or exercise. But over time, that system starts to lose its precision. The kidneys become a bit less efficient at filtering and conserving fluids, and the thirst signal itself dulls. That means many adults stay in a mild state of underhydration without realizing it. You may not feel parched, yet your cells may not be getting the fluid balance they need to function at their best. Think of each cell as a small battery. For a battery to work, there has to be a difference in charge between the inside and outside. In your body, that charge is created by minerals such as magnesium, sodium, and potassium. They're called electrolytes because they carry an electrical charge when dissolved in water. That charge is what lets water and nutrients move across cell membranes. When electrolytes fall out of balance, water can sit outside the cells instead of flowing in, leaving you technically hydrated but still sluggish. This is why drinking plain water isn't always enough. Water provides the fluid volume, but electrolytes provide the access code. Without them, the body's hydration system can feel like a car trying to start with a weak battery. The engine turns over, but not with full power. The encouraging part is that balance can usually be restored through simple, everyday choices rather than complicated routines. One mineral that plays a central role here is magnesium. It's involved in hundreds of processes that support muscle relaxation, nerve communication, and steady energy. Many people don't get enough from food alone because modern diets and soil depletion have reduced magnesium levels in common produce. Adding magnesium-rich foods such as leafy greens, nuts, or seeds to your meals can make a noticeable difference over time. Some people also use small amounts of magnesium supplements dissolved in water, but the main idea is to help the body maintain that calm, steady rhythm that supports normal circulation and energy. Sodium and potassium form another partnership that keeps hydration balanced. Sodium helps your body hold on to the water it drinks, while potassium ensures that water moves where it's needed rather than staying in one compartment. Too much processed sodium without enough potassium can tip the scale in the wrong direction. So the goal is balance, not avoidance. Choosing whole foods, vegetables, fruits, unrefined sea salt, tends to give you a better mix of both. That's why a pinch of natural mineral salt in a large glass of water tastes different from processed table salt. It contains trace elements that the body recognizes and uses more efficiently. As you start to think about hydration in this way, it becomes less about quantity and more about quality. It's not just drinking water, it's fueling the body with the right electrical charge so that water becomes useful inside the cells. Even small adjustments like having a mineral-rich glass of water in the morning before coffee can set the tone for steadier energy through the day. Alongside magnesium, sodium, and potassium, there are a few other minerals that quietly influence how energetic and balanced you feel day to day. Zinc is one of them. It often comes up in discussions about immune strength, but it also contributes to how the body repairs tissues and manages enzymes that affect energy metabolism. Small, consistent amounts from foods such as seafood, pumpkin seeds, or lentils can help maintain that steady state where you feel capable and clear-headed. Iron is another element worth understanding. Though it requires care, it helps red blood cells carry oxygen throughout the body. Without enough iron, oxygen delivery slows, and fatigue tends to follow. That said, taking iron without medical advice can backfire because excess iron isn't easily excreted. The safest way to maintain balance is to eat foods that naturally contain it, lean meats, spinach, or beans, and have your levels checked periodically if fatigue becomes persistent. When you think about hydration through this mineral lens, water starts to look like a delivery system rather than just a drink. Each mineral you consume sends a signal. Some tell your muscles to relax, others guide nutrients into cells, and together they keep the electrical rhythm that powers your circulation and metabolism. This rhythm is subtle. You don't feel it directly, but it's what allows every organ to receive the right mix of oxygen and nutrients. A practical way to build these ideas into daily life is to design a simple rhythm around drinking. In the morning, before coffee or breakfast, start with a tall glass of water that includes a source of minerals. That could mean stirring in a small pinch of natural sea salt or using a squeeze of lemon for flavor and a touch of potassium. The goal isn't to create a supplement routine, but to teach the body to wake up gently, replenishing what was lost overnight. During the day, think of hydration as a steady drip rather than a flood. Instead of forcing yourself to drink huge volumes at once, sip small amounts regularly. This keeps electrolytes stable and avoids the problem of flushing minerals out too quickly. If you exercise or spend time in heat, add a mineral-rich drink afterward to replace what sweat removes. Many people find that once they start matching their water intake with small doses of electrolytes, they stop experiencing that mid-afternoon slump that used to feel mysterious. By evening, the focus shifts to balance. Magnesium again becomes useful because of its calming effect. A modest intake can support relaxation and preparation for rest. Some people like to dissolve a half teaspoon of magnesium citrate in warm water before bed. Others prefer to get it naturally from food. Either way, the purpose is the same, supporting the body's ability to unwind and maintain smooth circulation overnight. These small adjustments might sound almost too easy, but the simplicity is what makes them sustainable. You're not adding complexity to your day. You're refining what you already do. Instead of drinking plain water without thought, you're turning each glass into a gentle tool for restoring balance. Over time, that balance expresses itself as steadier energy, easier movement, and a greater sense of well-being. When people begin this mindful approach to hydration, they often notice the difference most clearly in the mornings. The body feels less stiff upon waking. Focus returns more quickly, and there's an overall sense of being more charged. It isn't dramatic, it's subtle, like fine-tuning an instrument that's been slightly off-key. Each day, that consistency builds on itself, gradually recharging the systems that keep you feeling alive and strong. Once you start noticing those subtle improvements, steadier mornings, better focus, less of that afternoon dip, it's important to remember that hydration isn't a quick fix. It's a rhythm your body learns and maintains over time. Consistency is what turns small habits into lasting change. Drinking mineral-rich water for a day or two feels good, but it's the repeated practice that teaches your cells to stay balanced. Each day you reinforce the message: stay relaxed, stay charged, stay flowing. That said, there are a few common mistakes that can quietly undo your progress. The first is overcompensation. When people learn that plain water isn't enough, they sometimes go overboard with powders or salt mixtures. More is not better. Your body's balance depends on proportion. A pinch of unrefined salt in a large glass of water is usually enough. A spoonful is too much. The same goes for magnesium and potassium. Moderation ensures your kidneys can do their job without strain. The second mistake is ignoring food quality. Minerals don't work in isolation. They depend on the nutrients that come from real food. Hydration is most effective when supported by a diet rich in vegetables, fruits, proteins, and healthy fats. These foods supply the vitamins that help electrolytes function properly. For example, vitamin C aids iron absorption, while B vitamins support energy metabolism that depends on magnesium and potassium. Thinking about hydration as part of nutrition rather than a separate task helps your body operate as a whole. The third mistake is inconsistency. Many people start strong for a week and then drift back to old patterns. The trick is to make the habit automatic. Attach it to something you already do. Pour a glass of water while the coffee brews. Keep a reusable bottle at your desk. Sip a mineral-rich drink after exercise. When hydration becomes part of existing routines, you won't have to remind yourself. It will simply happen. Long-term, the benefits reach beyond feeling refreshed. Balanced hydration supports efficient metabolism, clearer thinking, and smoother movement. It influences how well nutrients are transported and how quickly waste products are removed. When the circulatory system is well supplied with fluids and electrolytes, oxygen delivery improves naturally. That doesn't mean you'll suddenly gain superhuman endurance, but you may notice that daily activities, walking, climbing stairs, or focusing on a project, feel easier and more sustainable. It can help to set a short-term experiment. Give yourself 3 weeks of mindful hydration and track what you notice. Not just physical changes, but also mental clarity, mood, and sleep quality. Write a few notes each evening, how much you drank, what you added, and how you felt. At the end of 3 weeks, you'll have personal data that tells you more than any chart or claim. Most people discover that the improvements are real but gentle, like rediscovering an old rhythm. As you keep this up, you'll probably start seeing water not as a chore but as a signal of self-care. Each time you take a sip, you're supporting circulation, energy, and balance. You're acknowledging that your body changes with time and that paying attention to those changes keeps you in control. That sense of agency, knowing you can make small, meaningful adjustments, is what creates vitality after 50. This way of thinking also applies to other areas of health. Hydration becomes a model for balance itself. Enough movement but not strain, enough rest but not idleness, enough structure but not rigidity. When you treat your body with that steady respect, it responds by functioning more smoothly. You begin to feel less reactive and more in tune, not chasing energy but sustaining it. Over time, the effects of these small, consistent actions add up. The body doesn't shout its approval, it whispers it through steadier energy, calmer mornings, and the quiet confidence that comes from feeling balanced. You may notice that your skin looks healthier, that your thinking feels sharper, or that your recovery after activity takes less effort. Those are the outward signs of inner stability, the proof that your cells are communicating and your circulation is doing its job efficiently. It's easy to underestimate what hydration really represents. It's not just about thirst, it's about electrical activity, chemical reactions, and the movement of life through every tissue. Water, guided by minerals, carries the signals that tell muscles to contract and relax, nerves to fire, and organs to coordinate. When those signals travel smoothly, everything works with less friction. That's what people mean when they talk about feeling in flow. It's a literal description of what's happening inside you. When you were younger, this flow came easily. You didn't have to think about it because your body automatically maintained it. After 50, awareness becomes part of the process. You start to understand that health isn't just luck, it's attention. The good news is that attention doesn't require dramatic effort. A few thoughtful habits, drinking water with purpose, eating a variety of real foods, moving daily, sleeping enough, create a foundation that supports vitality far better than any extreme plan ever could. Hydration is one of those quiet foundations. You can live for weeks without food, but only days without water. And even mild dehydration can affect mood, focus, and endurance. When the body doesn't have to fight for balance, it can devote its resources to repair and renewal. That's why people who stay consistently hydrated often notice not only better energy, but also greater resilience to stress. Their systems have more reserve. They bend rather than break. If you ever doubt whether these details matter, think about how every part of your body depends on circulation. Your brain, heart, muscles, and skin all rely on the same network of vessels and the same fluid medium to deliver nutrients and clear waste. Keeping that network healthy isn't complicated. It's about giving it the right raw materials. The combination of water and minerals is the simplest way to do that. You're not adding anything exotic or risky. You're restoring what nature intended. As you go forward, let this understanding reshape how you see hydration. Each glass of water can be a moment of maintenance, a small act that supports long-term vitality. Some days you'll feel the difference clearly. Other days it will simply sustain the baseline that keeps you moving. Either way, it's working quietly in the background, maintaining the delicate electrical harmony that allows your body to perform at its best. So take a moment tomorrow morning before the rush of the day begins. Pour a glass of water, add a trace of minerals or a squeeze of lemon, and think of it as more than a drink. It's a daily signal of renewal. With each sip, you're reminding your body how to stay balanced and strong. That's the essence of aging well. Not chasing youth, but refining the habits that make energy and clarity feel natural again. Stay consistent, stay curious, and treat your water as the vital element it is. The results build quietly, but they build. And as the weeks pass, you'll feel that steady flow return, not as a surge, but as a calm, enduring strength that supports you through every day that comes.